So jacks were originally called knaves in cards, and the Queen came over from France. That sounds like a spy password, but we'll let it go at that. So I'm just sort of basking in the afterglow of knowing that. And on the page before that, review. Mom slapped me when she saw a risky stunt, says, quote, Betty, unquote. And it's like I'm going, okay. This one's by James Rampton. It's been a fan favorite for 50 years, 30 years, 50 years, 50 years. But one viewer who clearly wasn't impressed by Betty's daredevil antics was the mother of the actress. In the celebrated sequence from Some Mothers Do Have 'Em in 1973, Frank Spencer, played by Michael Crawford, and his long-suffering wife Betty, Michelle Dotrice, are dangling perilously from a Morris Minor that is about to tip over the side of a 200-foot cliff on Dorset's Purbeck coast. Watched by 15 million viewers, it is still considered a comedy classic. But Michelle's mother reacted with fury when she saw the risky stunt. I was 24 at the time, and when my mother watched that clifftop scene, she actually slapped me, says Michelle. She said, "What on earth did you do that for? Don't ever do anything like that again." Michelle, now 74, co-starred as Betty in all 22 episodes of the show between 1973 and 1976, and in a comic relief special in 2016. She now marvels at the lack of health and safety. Quote, "I don't know how we got away with it, quite frankly. You certainly wouldn't now, that's for sure. That scene hanging over the cliff was astonishing because I had a fear of heights." I said to the stunt coordinator, "What safety measures will there be?" He replied, "It'll be absolutely fine because we've got this thing that goes around your ankle." It was basically a thread of cotton wrapped around my ankle. She continues, "Then the stunt coordinator said, 'Don't worry, we'll definitely be holding it at the other end.'" But I still wasn't quite sure what would happen if the car dropped off the edge of the cliff. You just couldn't do those things now. Well, you got that right. Michelle admits that the show's enduring success has taken her aback. When the show was first a hit, it was totally unexpected. It just suddenly took off. It was a phenomenon. And it is wonderful to think it's still seen with affection and being introduced to new audiences 50 years later. For a little half-hour comedy show, it's remarkable. It's probably because of its innocence. Back in the day when it was going out, you sat down as a family with Granny and knew you weren't going to be offended. It wasn't violent, it was just silly. It was just fun. The actress, who was married to the late actor Edward Woodward and has a daughter named Emily, continues, "Michael created an extraordinary character with Frank Spencer. I think in part it worked because neither of us are comics. We're both actors. We were playing it straight. We weren't playing it for laughs." And viewers adored the relationship between Frank and Betty, memorialized in the catchphrases of countless 1970s impressionists who would don Frank's trademark beret and raincoat and parrot the line, "Ooh, Betty, the cat's done a whoopsie." You had to believe that she loved the guy, otherwise what was the point? He was such a loser. But she loved the guy, and she put up with him. The fact that they did love each other was key. Half a century later, Michelle and Michael remained close. He was a tremendous support when her husband died in 2009, an event that hit her very hard. So I'm going to ask Fisher if he can look on YouTube and see if he can find this cliff edge scene with the two of them on the car where it's about to pitch over the cliff. And if he can't find it on YouTube, well, we'll just close out the show with the still that they had in the International Express attached to the article. And here it is now. I hope to see a bunch of you again next week.